Fear is a universal language, spoken in every corner of the globe. It is the primal response to the unknown, the dark, and the things that go bump in the night. Throughout history, every culture has developed its own unique manifestations of this fear, entities that represent our collective anxieties and the mysteries of our environments. Mythology is more than just a collection of scary stories. It is a repository for human anxieties. These legends manifest as creatures that embody cultural taboos, natural disasters, and the sheer terror of what lies beyond the light of the campfire. They serve as warnings, as lessons, and as a way to process the inexplicable horrors of the world. From the visceral self-segmentation found in the legends of the Philippine Islands to the skinless, plague-bearing terrors of the rugged Scottish coast, these entities are complex reflections of the societies that birthed them. They are the shadows that endure long after the stories are told. Today, we embark on a journey across continents to explore the most terrifying mythical creatures to ever exist. Our journey begins in the lush Emerald Islands of the Philippines. Here, the category of malevolent spirits known as the aswang is deeply woven into the cultural fabric. Among these shapeshifters and ghouls, there is one entity that stands out for its unique and visceral horror, a creature known as the Manananggal. By day, the Manananggal is indistinguishable from any other villager. She often appears as a beautiful woman, living a quiet, unassuming life. This duality is part of her terror. The monster could be your neighbor, your friend, or a stranger you passed in the market. But as the tropical sun dips below the horizon, her true, gruesome nature emerges. The name Manananggal is derived from the Tagalog word tanggal, which means to separate or to remove. At night, her upper torso detaches from her lower half with a sickening sound. She sprouts massive, leathery bat-like wings and takes to the sky, leaving her stationary legs hidden in a secluded area, her entrails dangling beneath her like a grisly trail. She flies through the moonlit night, a silent and deadly predator. Her leathery wings carry her over the thatched roofs of sleeping villages. Her primary targets are those who carry the promise of the future, pregnant women. She possesses a long, hollow, thread-like tongue, which she uses with surgical precision to probe through the roofs of houses. With this specialized organ, she reaches the womb of her victim to suck out the heart of the fetus. She is also known to consume the internal organs, such as the heart and liver, of sleeping adults. The Manananggal is a creature of insatiable hunger, a symbol of the violation of the most sacred bond, that of a mother and her unborn child. However, her terrifying power comes with a critical vulnerability. Her lower torso remains stationary and defenseless while she hunts. To kill a Manananggal, one must find her hidden lower half before she returns. The traditional weapons are simple but effective: salt, crushed garlic, or ash. By sprinkling these substances over the raw flesh of the lower torso, the two halves are prevented from rejoining. If the Manananggal cannot reattach herself before the first light of dawn, she is doomed. The sun's rays are fatal to her segmented form, turning the once beautiful woman into a pile of ash. This legend serves as a powerful metaphor for the duality of the human spirit, the outward beauty that can mask an internal predatory corruption. Even in modern times, sightings are still whispered about in the remote provinces of the Philippines. We leave the islands of Southeast Asia and travel to the vast, windswept plains of Los Llanos, stretching across Venezuela and Colombia. This is a land of extremes, where the horizon feels infinite and the wind carries the stories of the past. In this environment, one legend reigns supreme: the chilling tale of El Silbon, also known as the Whistler. The legend of El Silbon dates back to the mid-19th century and serves as a stark moral warning. It tells the story of a spoiled brat who lived with his parents on the plains. One day, he demanded his father hunt a deer for his dinner. When the father returned empty-handed, the boy, in a fit of uncontrollable rage, murdered him. In some of the more gruesome tellings, he even forced his mother to cook his father's organs for their meal. When the truth was discovered, the boy's grandfather enacted a terrible punishment. He had the boy whipped, rubbed hot chili peppers into his open wounds, and set rabid dogs upon him. He was cursed to wander the plains for all eternity, condemned to carry a heavy sack containing the bleached, rattling bones of the father he had so brutally murdered. El Silbon is described as a towering, skeletal figure, sometimes reaching a height of 6 meters. He is defined by his signature whistle, a haunting musical scale that echoes across the plains. But there is a terrifying paradox to this sound that confuses and traps his victims. If the whistle sounds loud and close, he is actually far away. However, if the whistle sounds faint and distant, he is standing right beside you. Locals believe that El Silbón sits on the porches of houses at night, meticulously counting the bones in his sack. If the inhabitants of the house hear the rattling and the counting, they are safe. But if he goes unnoticed until dawn, someone in the household will die, and their bones will be added to his collection. He primarily targets unfaithful men and drunkards, acting as a grim, supernatural moral guardian of the plains. From the heat of the South American plains, we journey to the rugged and storm-lashed Orkney Islands, off the northern coast of Scotland. In this land of ancient stone and crashing seas, the folklore is dominated by a creature of unmixed malignity, an entity that possesses no redeeming qualities whatsoever. This is the Nuckelavee, the skinless demon of the deep. The Nuckelavee is a sea dweller that only comes to land during the winter months. It resembles a grotesque centaur with a human torso growing directly out of the back of a horse-like body. But what makes it truly horrifying is that it has no skin. Its raw red muscles and thick yellow veins are completely exposed to the elements, pumping black blood through its malformed and terrifying body. Its head is said to be 10 times the size of a man's, with a single glowing red eye and a pig-like snout. The Nuckelavee's breath is a toxic plague, capable of wilting crops and spreading the mortashine, a fatal disease that decimated cattle herds in the past. It was the historical explanation for the sudden droughts and famines that frequently plagued the islanders. In the 18th century, islanders feared that the pungent smoke from burning seaweed, a necessary process for creating fertilizer, would enrage the Nuckelavee. They believed the smoke would draw the beast from the depths to exact revenge by spreading plague and death. Despite its power, the Nuckelavee has one profound weakness: an absolute aversion to fresh water. To escape its pursuit, one must cross a running stream, as the beast cannot follow. According to Orcadian lore, the Nuckelavee is kept in check during the summer months by the Mither of the Sea, an ancient spirit who confines it to the depths. But when the winter gales arrive, she loses her control, and the skinless horror is free to roam the shores once more. The Nuckelavee represents the unforgiving and often destructive power of the sea that surrounds the islands. Our journey takes us next to the heart of the ancient Aztec civilization in Mexico. For the Aztecs, the monster was not merely a threat to be avoided, it was the very foundation of the physical world they inhabited. This was Cipactli, a primeval sea monster of such insatiable hunger and power that the gods themselves feared her. Her story is the story of creation through destruction. Cipactli was described as a creature that was part crocodile, part fish, and part toad. She was characterized by an insatiable appetite that threatened all of existence. Every joint of her massive body was said to possess a mouth, and she devoured everything the gods attempted to create. Before there could be order, before there could be a stable universe, the gods realized they had to confront and destroy this embodiment of chaos. The powerful gods Quetzalcoatl and Tezcatlipoca took it upon themselves to end Cipactli's reign of hunger. But she was too powerful to be attacked directly. Tezcatlipoca, in an act of divine sacrifice, used his own foot as bait to lure her from the primordial waters. When she emerged to consume it, the two gods captured her and tore her massive body apart to form the cosmos we know today. Her head was transformed into the 13 heavens, her midsection was crafted into the earth, and her tail became the underworld of Mictlan. The world was literally built from her remains. But though her body was used to create order, her spirit remained alive and demanding. The Aztecs believed that the earth, Cipactli, still hungered for blood to maintain its stability. This belief provided the mythological justification for their practice of human sacrifice. If the earth was not fed, she would tremble and shake, causing earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. Cipactli is a reminder of the Aztec view of the world, that order is fragile, and it must be constantly maintained through sacrifice. She is the monster we stand upon, the hunger that lies beneath the surface of our reality. Finally, we travel to the high deserts of the American Southwest, a land of ancient rock and deep silence. Among the Navajo people, there is a figure of such profound dread that they often avoid even uttering its name, the Skinwalker. Known in Navajo as Yi-Naldlushi, it represents a terrifying perversion of sacred power and a violation of the most fundamental cultural taboos. Unlike the medicine men who use their spiritual knowledge for the healing and protection of the community, a Skinwalker is a witch who has chosen the path of ultimate evil. They are the antithesis of harmony. To attain their supernatural powers, a person must perform a truly heinous act, most commonly the murder of a close relative, such as a sibling. This act of ultimate betrayal grants them the ability to shapeshift into animals. Base. By wearing the skins of animals like wolves, coyotes, or owls, they can assume their form and abilities. However, there is always something wrong in their appearance. They move with unnatural speed. Their eyes retain a chillingly human look, and they can mimic the voices of loved ones to lure their victims into the darkness of the desert night. They are the living embodiment of the fear of the enemy within. Base. In recent decades, the legend has gained global notoriety through Skinwalker Ranch in Utah. Reports of bulletproof wolves, disappearing cattle, and strange portal-like phenomena have captured the public imagination. However, this modern urban legend version often diverges significantly from traditional Navajo beliefs, frequently conflating the Skinwalker with modern cryptids or even extraterrestrial activity. Base. For the Navajo, the fear of the Skinwalker remains a deeply personal and cultural reality, a symbol of the ultimate violation of Hojo, or harmony. They are a reminder that the greatest terrors are not always monsters from another world, but the potential for evil that exists within our own. Even today, the reticence to discuss them with outsiders remains a testament to the power of this ancient dread. Base. The Manananggal, El Silbon, the Nuckelavee, Cipactli, and the Skinwalker. Though separated by thousands of miles and vastly different cultures, these creatures share a common thread. They are the mirrors of the societies that created them, reflecting our deepest fears, our environmental challenges, and our most fundamental values. They define the boundaries of our world, reminding us of what we must avoid and what we must protect. Base. They remind us that despite our modern progress and scientific understanding, there are still corners of our world and our minds where the shadows hold secrets we are not meant to fully understand. These legends endure because the fears they represent are timeless. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the creatures that haunt our collective imagination. Farewell. Base.